Hello and welcome back everybody. My name is Alex and this is episode 2 of the Factorio Let's Play. So last time we left off, I had just finished setting up the steam engine power production area, but I need to supply coal to them. So to do that, I'm going to need to up my iron production right now. So I'm setting up a second burner mining drill and a second stone furnace. So now I'm going to grab all the iron that I got from my furnaces and build as many burner inserters as I can. And at this point I also realize that I'm going to need to grab some more coal for the burner inserters and to jumpstart the whole electrical system. So I go back over here, grab some coal, and that later is going to be obsolete because I'm planning on making a buffer system for my coal production up by the power. So up next is actually running all of the power lines along the steam engines because all that power needs to go somewhere. So I set all of those up and I'm going to need to craft one final burner inserter. So I do that, put them all in a line right there. And in the ongoing theme, I need to get more iron because I am out. I'm going to use this iron to create the first electric mining drill, which will be producing the coal for the power system. So I get that crafting down there, and I realize I'm going to need even more iron because I need some transport belts to get the coal down to the burner inserters and the boilers. So I go back and grab some more iron, and I make the first transport belts of the system. So right now I'm just kind of thinking about how I want to lay out everything because I'm going to need some room to create the buffer chest. So I put the first electric mining drill up there and I get that tree out of the way because I'm going to need a decent amount of space. Well, not a decent amount, just the right amount of space to put the buffer system in. And of course I need to make some more transport belts, so I grab some more iron. So the purpose of a buffer system is so that if there's ever a blackout and the boilers run out, there should be a chest filled with coal that will always be providing power to the system. And I'll show you more how that's actually created in just a second. I just need to run some power up to the mining drill. So as you can see right there, there's no power going to it. Obviously I need to jumpstart the system. And now we should see coal flowing out there shortly. And there's the first piece. So that's going to go down, and right where I'm standing is where I'm planning on putting the buffer system. So that's going to start inserting coal into itself, and we are all good. And of course, I'm going to need some more iron. So right now I'm just waiting to collect the last little bits of iron. Just need just a few more pieces, and now we can make our first lab and actually begin our research. This will help improve the factory as a whole. So I'm crafting the lab down there, checking out how the coal is going. It's going pretty well. And then I turn my attention to the copper, which I haven't in quite some time. So fuel that back up. I forget to fuel up the coal burner inserter, or the mining drill, yeah. So I'll need to do that later. The coal is making its way down to all the boilers. So now I'm kind of thinking of where I want to put the lab, but I realize later on I'm just going to move it. This is just all temporary. So we put that electrical pole in there, and we put our red science in. We are finally researching something. Alright, so now with the lab actually constructed, I have a need for actually making some red science. So I go down and of course grab some more iron because you need that for everything. And start actually making red science in bulk. After getting stuck on a tree, I go up and check on the coal system for a little bit, and it is running very well. So after all the red science is done, I'm going to begin constructing the buffer system. I'm going to put it right at the corner there because that's always a great place to put it. Alright, so now I suppose I'm just going to twiddle my thumbs while I wait for the red science to be constructed. In the future, obviously, we're going to set up a system to actually make it automatically and put it into the lab. So that is getting pretty close to done. I'm also thinking about how I'm going to expand the steam engine line downward in kind of a stacking manner. I'll show you in future episodes. It should work very well. And now with the lab filled up with red signs, I begin work on the buffer system, which is done already. It is very simple. It is just taking coal off the line, putting it in the chest, and then taking it out of the chest and putting it back into the line. So what happens with this is if the coal backs all the way up to the second inserter where it's actually putting it out of the chest and onto the line, if there's not room, it'll just stay in the chest. So there will always be a pretty large reserve. So this finally means we can remove the burner mining drill circle jerk. So that is completely obsolete. We take those down and are on our way again. So now I'm kind of looking at the factory as a whole after I grab some more iron. And I'm trying to think about how I want to expand the factory after this, what part I need to work on, and obviously I think I'm going to start working on a large iron furnace array. I noticed that the coal mining drill is out, so I put some coal in it. Or sorry, the stone mining drill is out, so I put coal in it. And I do that a lot. And then I also realized that I have one red science pack in my inventory that I forgot to put in the lab. So I put that in there, and I wait until the automation research is done. And here it comes, best sound. Oh yeah, ooh. Alright, so we have that done, and I'm looking at the different technologies I can research. Probably not going to do circuits because it's honestly not that helpful, or electronics I should say. Military could be useful, although we haven't been attacked yet, so I'll probably wait till the first attack and then regret it afterwards. So I think I'm gonna end up doing logistics just because that will help for expanding the factory the most. So now I'm gonna go check on the buffer system to see if it's working, and of course it's working. I made it. So as you can see, the inserter, the second inserter, cannot put anything on the assembler belt because it is backed all the way up there, and I just limited the chest because I don't want that to fill all the way. That's kind of a waste of coal. So I'm gonna grab some iron and clear the way for making some electric mining drills to actually start a large furnace array. So I'm just kind of fiddling with how I want to position these to get the best efficiency out of the mining drills, because right now I don't really care about overlap of the mining areas because it's a smaller patch and I kind of just want it to run out as fast as possible and move on to a larger patch when I know I'm going to be using a lot more iron. Because right now, honestly, even if it seems like I've been using tons of iron, I'm going to be using way more later on, and it's just going to be annoying to move from patch to patch. So I just want to find a large patch and set up trains down there. But trains are a little ways off, so we will think about that in later episodes. Anyway, I finally decide on how I want to set up my electric mining drills. So now I'm going to make some electric poles. Keep on wanting to call them telephone poles. And connect them up with the power of my factory. So then I'm gonna craft some transport belts and actually finish powering that mining drill because it did not get power. And here we go. We have some iron automatically being drilled. So now, since I don't have any plates actually being produced, I'm going to put the stone furnaces back. These are just temporary, but I will be needing iron, so I need them. Anyway, I make some more inserters to put iron into the stone furnaces, but then I realize that I'm going to need, if I don't want to keep refueling these, I'm going to need a coal mine to start filling the furnaces with coal. So I look out and kind of figure out what I want to do, and that of course means destroying some of my old work. So I get rid of the furnaces because I'm going to put them somewhere else, and I'm going to make another mining drill. I believe one should be enough for the two furnaces because they're not going to go through coal nearly as fast as they will go through iron. So I start clearing away some of nature and finish making the mining drill, so I'm going to put that down after I clear the path a little bit more. I really love the new feature of being able to mine the stone. Originally, you couldn't do that and you just shot it out of the way. Right here on the map, you can see that my pollution cloud is growing a little bit bigger, but we are still safe. So, with almost all nature out of the way, I can set up the coal mine and actually start working on a large-scale furnace array. Now we can put the iron mining, or the, there we go again, the electric mining drill down and run power to it from the main factory. There we go. Now we're gonna return, and I'm just gonna see if the belts line up, and of course they don't. So I'm gonna have to stagger them a little bit, but that won't make any difference at all. And then, of course, I run out of iron, so I'm gonna need some more iron. That means putting the stone furnaces back down, because I'm gonna need to produce iron, because at the moment I am not producing iron. So luckily I don't need to put down any more electric poles, and I just fill this up manually with coal and kind of wait it out and let them go. So now I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs again, waiting for some iron to be smelted. That's gonna happen a lot early game. Anyway, we should have enough to slowly start making some more transport belts, but it's gonna be a semi-slow process. I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do later on in the factory's life, how I want to actually set up the factory. You do a main bus system, which is all the most common resources running on a pretty large conveyor belt down the center of the factory. Or I was thinking about doing different modules that produce different things, and they kind of feed into each other. And it's modular, so if I make blueprints, I can make the factory easily reproducible and everything. And then I walk over, grab some stone, but realize I grab way too much stone, so I put it back into the chest. And then I go up to check on how copper is doing, and because I am incredibly neglectful, it is completely out of coal, so to stop producing anything. So I just fill that back up with coal, and I forgot to actually grab some copper, so I go back and do that. And I'm out of coal, so I can stop by the buffer system, which is working wonderfully, grab 100 coal, and then make my way back down to where the iron is. Right now I'm checking on how the electricity is doing, and since there isn't really a lot of heavy production, or not production, electricity draw, it is going very well. 5 steam engines is way more than enough to provide power for everything in my factory right now. So you can see the little production bar up at the top is very low, which is good. If that goes to the very top of its bar and turns yellow or red, that is bad. Everything will start to slow down, and it could eventually lead to power failure. So, after checking on the rest of the factory, I should have enough transport belts to finish up and meet in the middle, which I do, and once again I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to lead or have the furnace array, and I realized going up would probably be bad because there's not a lot of space there. So I destroy those belts and flip it around the other way. So now you can see the coal and the iron are going to be on the same belt, so the inserters can put both of these resources into the stone furnaces and always have fuel to smelt things. So I make a few more stone furnaces and start placing them down. And once again, very important part of Factorio is kind of making sure your factory is future-proof. So originally, I try to use the regular inserters, but then I realized that later tier furnaces, like the electric furnace, actually is a 3x3 tile rather than a 2x2 tile. So if I want to upgrade these furnaces later on, which honestly I probably do, I'm going to make sure I have room for that. So that requires a brand new inserter. So I'm going to get rid of all these furnaces and actually place them in the correct distance. And then make some long-handed inserters. And as the name suggests, long-handed inserters just have a little extra reach. So this will allow me to place the furnaces with a little more room in between, which will allow me to upgrade them to 3x3 furnaces later on, which is the electric furnace. Alright, so we just need to place the final long-handed inserters. Here we go. And then bring power down to here. Well, first put the assembler belts down there. Make some more inserters for the other side of the belt. But that seems like a good stopping point. We have our iron furnace array basically set up, providing power for it. You can see some of the inserters are starting to go. And I'm just going to place the final electric poles and then call it. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and next episode we will finish this.